Sometimes, God doesn't lead us where it's easy. He leads us where it's empty. Because only in the desert, in that silent, endless space inside our hearts, can we finally hear Him. When the noise fades away, when we stop running and striving, what's left is stillness, and in that stillness, God's voice sounds clearer than thunder. This is a story about a man who went searching for water, but found something greater. A man who had to walk through the desert to remember how to believe again. Once, on the edge of a sunburnt town near a wide desert, there lived a man named Samuel. He was a craftsman, quiet, skillful, steady. He could mend a wheel, fix a roof, draw water from a broken well. People respected him for his calm and his work. But they didn't know the silence that lived inside him. Years ago, Samuel had lost his only son. The boy had been the light of his life. And when that light went out, Samuel stopped talking to God. He didn't curse him, didn't renounce him. He simply stopped. His prayers fell silent, his faith turned to dust. He lived, but he didn't live. Then, one night, Samuel woke from a dream. He heard his name, clear and certain. And a voice whispered, "Go into the desert. There you'll find the water your soul thirsts for." He sat for a long time in the dark, listening to the wind outside his window. It was madness, an old man walking into the desert. And yet, something in his heart wouldn't let him rest. So at dawn, he packed some bread, a small flask of water, and his father's walking stick, and began to walk. He walked for a day, then another. The horizon didn't move. Sand stretched forever, the sun burned without mercy. He could hear nothing but the crunch of his own steps. At times he whispered his son's old words. Maybe God is quiet because He wants us to speak first. By the fourth day, his water was gone. The heat pressed on his chest, and the light hurt his eyes. He fell to his knees and finally prayed. Not like a believer asking for a miracle, but like a child who has nowhere left to go. "Lord," he said, "I came where you sent me. But where are you now?" There was no voice. Only wind. But in that wind came a memory. His son's laughter, his son's voice. "Dad, God hides sometimes, not to leave us, but to be found." Tears stung his eyes. He realized he'd spent years waiting for answers, but not looking for the one who gives them. He wanted comfort, not connection. And that's why the well had stayed buried. He rose to his feet, leaned on his staff, and whispered, "God, if you're here, even in silence, let me feel you." Then, out of nowhere, a gust of wind swept across the dunes. The sand spun in circles, and under his feet, he saw the rim of a stone ring. He knelt, a well, half buried in sand. He began to dig. With cracked hands, dry lips, and burning eyes, he clawed at the earth. Every handful of sand felt like a prayer, raw and real. And then, he heard it. The sound of water. He laughed, or maybe cried. It was hard to tell which. He cupped his hands and drank. Cool, living water. And in that moment he whispered, "It wasn't me who found the well. It was you who found me." By sunset, Samuel started his journey home. The town looked the same, dusty streets, old walls, children running. But everything seemed brighter, alive. When people asked, "Where have you been?" he smiled and said, "I went looking for water. And I found the one who gives it." Every one of us has a desert to cross. For some, it's loss. For others, loneliness. For others still, silence. And we often think that God has gone quiet, when really, He's waiting for us to listen. Sometimes, to drink living water, you have to walk through dry lands. Sometimes, to hear God, you have to stop talking. So when your life feels like a desert, don't give up. Maybe the well is already there, right beneath your feet. You just need to start digging. Not with your hands, but with your heart.